Well, hello everyone. I'm Jill Bloom, Group Publisher of Walls and Ceilings, and welcome to If Walls Could Talk. I'm so excited and honored to be here today with Mark Fowler, the Executive Director of the Stucco Manufacturers Association. Mark, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you, Jill. Thank you for having me here.
Well, it's always great to have conversations, especially with people that are leading associations, because when it comes to associations, I've been at B&P now for almost 24 years, which is hard to even imagine, put that together. But I've always been taught from our CEO that associations are great for everybody. And so that's why we love to do what we do, which is support you guys. But there are so many things that you guys are doing, but what is it that everybody needs to know right now that's so important, that's happening, that you guys are working on, and that everybody needs to know about?
You know, I think probably one of the most critical issues right now is the silica dust issue. It's still, even though 2017 is when OSHA passed the rule that you have to monitor respirable silica and you have to test on that.
Don't have to test the air and test whatever?
You test the air, you have to make sure your equipment's all up to whether it's, it has to be either vacuum or suppression, some way to suppress the dust. Because the silica dust, when people are exposed, it's nothing that's going to happen instantly, but over time. People can get sick from it, from cancer and other things like that. So OSHA is focused on it. It took a lot of years. I think it took 30, 40 years before they finally came out with the new one in 2017. But they came out with some pretty strict regulations on it. And part of that was that you had to have a written exposure plan. It's required.
Right.
And a lot of people don't have it. And you can't just get a written exposure plan from the plumbing company. The plumbing industry, it doesn't count. It's got to be toward your industry. And that's where associations do a really good job. And the Stucco Manufacturers Association created one just for stucco and adhered stone.
Oh, that's cool. And so if they're a member, they can come to your website and just kind of put that into their contracts? How does that work?
Actually, it's easier than that. Once they join, we send it to them.
Oh, even better. Okay.
What they do is they get a silica compliance number. They're part of a program because then we offer compliance competent person training. We offer certificates. We do all the training like that, but they're enrolled in the program and they get a compliance number. So even if they're on a job site and they don't have their written report, whatever, they can go to our website, pull it up, look up their name and number and click on it and they'll get it. They'll have it right there.
That's amazing.
Which is really important to have if an OSHA compliance officer comes out, because there's nothing worse for a contractor, nothing worse than to have OSHA show up on your job site and they go up and tap your guy on the shoulder and say, "So are you aware of the silica dust?" And he looks at him and says, "Why? What's that? I don't know." That is going to get you in real trouble. If they understand,
it spells fine.
If they understand what it is, and they ought to say, "Well, do you have a written plan?" Yes, we have a written plan. You show the written plan, and this has happened. This is not just been since 2017. That when we show that plan, I've had it. Not one of my contractors has been fined. Not one.
Oh, that's awesome.
I'm not saying that we haven't had OSHA on a job site. I'll hear about it. They'll come out. I've even spoken to OSHA regional executives on it like that, and so they review it. And the reason ours is so unique is we actually do it for mixing plaster. Nobody has the test data on mixing plaster except us.
Wow.
We have it.
Oh my gosh.
And OSHA has, they don't approve anything.
Okay.
I want to make sure they do not stamp and approve it, but they have yet to have a problem with it.
That's awesome.
They've not fined one of our people for it.
So how does that work? So when you're mixing, because of course you're mixing, there's dust as well. So what do you mean you've got a stamp on, or you got it figured out on the mixing part side?
Here's what it is that normally their engineering controls are either water suppression or vacuum suppression by taking care of the dust, or you can use respirators, or you limit the time they work at that task, like it's less than so much time. Those are your engineering controls. Well, with mixing plaster, especially if you're doing, there's a big difference between a guy mixing plaster in let's say, a small town where he's mixing 5 bags a day. Well, that's not going to be, it doesn't matter. We have gun crews that run, they're mixing 5 bags every 10 minutes. And that changes, so it doesn't matter. So what we did was we did it by the bag count, and we did the testing over and over and over in all sorts of scenarios to verify that at this limit, if they stay at that limit of time, which is about 4 hours, you rotate the guy out, put another guy in, he'll stay below that limit.
Oh, that's awesome.
And OSHA has accepted that. And the reason it's so important right now is now in 2023, they've come out with a new IBI ruling, and the IBI stands for instance by instance. Historically, if OSHA came out on a job site, and this is kind of a new ruling, so I'm still trying to understand it myself, but I'm going to tell you, I think I got it pretty down. If an OSHA officer came out and he saw a violation, now obviously all the guys around are doing the same violation, they just write it up as one violation and they get. Now, they've decided they're not going to do that anymore. They're going to go around and count how many people and how many machines have got that, and they're going to multiply it times 15,000.
Wow.
And if you get hit a second time, it's 156,000. So any contractor that doesn't have one of these plans in place is really missing the boat, because it's real important to have.
It clearly sounds like that needs to be something done in their training that they're doing on a regular basis. So
Absolutely.
It sounds like contractors easily are doing training, if not every day, at least once a week at a minimum, to kind of go over these things.
And that's another thing, Jill. We have a toolbox talk.
Okay.
We actually put out a sheet because, believe it or not, OSHA, and it's probably not hard to believe, OSHA puts out a list of what you have to talk about.
Okay.
Now, you can certainly on your own go out and do all this and read through the OSHA manual that's about that thick. Well, we already did that.
Yeah.
We've done all that, and we've condensed it down to a very, very small book. In fact, like I said, the toolbox talk, we have that. That comes with your compliance program. You get that, and right there is one page. Okay. And it tells you to talk, and you've covered everything legally you have to cover. And then you can sign it and verify that, yes, we did teach these guys to do
Okay, Mark,
this.
that's amazing. That's totally amazing. There's no reason why everybody listening to this should not be a member. So how do they become a member? We got to stop right there, because that is so, those tools right there, easily, if OSHA showed up and you got a fine, this membership would pay for itself a gazillion times over.
Absolutely.
So how much does it cost? How many people become members? Because everyone right now, based on the fact that they actually get the copy to put into their contract and all the toolbox talks.
Right.
There's no other reason why they shouldn't. So tell everybody, where do they go? They already know why.
You can go to our website, which is stuccomanufacturersassociation.com, or abbreviated. You can get a hold of us either by phone on that. There's also online. You can just join right online.
Okay.
It's $500.
Oh, that's so easy.
Just to get a compliance program for an industrial hygienist is going to cost you at least $2,500 without testing. So, and you have to, by OSHA, you have to update it every year. You can't just do it and put it in the closet and say, I've got it. Every year it has to be reviewed.
Right.
You have to go through it and make sure everything and keep it up to date. We do that for you. Every year.
How do you do that for them? What do you mean you do that for them? That's amazing.
It's the same, because it doesn't matter whether you're doing plaster in Orange County, California, or Syracuse, New York, or Tampa Bay, Florida. It doesn't matter. It's plaster. It's all the same. We all know it's the same materials.
Yeah.
So, and by the way, OSHA is very clear about saying that. Associations are allowed to, if they're in the same industry, if they're specific to that industry, you can use that stuff. So we're allowed to do that, and that's what we do. We do that for you.
Okay.
We keep that so you have that, and I agree with you. And that's why when I started with the SMA, when this thing, I think we had 1 or 2 contractor members. We got over 100 now. And that's
it should be 1,000.
Yeah, it should be. I think so too.
There is no doubt.
I'm still amazed when I talk to contractors that say that they don't have a plan. I'm going, it's kind of like auto insurance.
Right.
You don't have auto insurance? Well, I'll get it when I get in an accident.
No, right.
It doesn't work that way.
Doesn't work that way.
And I'm going to tell you, it's the same thing with an OSHA compliance plan. It's to say, well, I'll go get one.
Yeah.
The OSHA guy's going to, no, it's too late. I want to know that you had one in place and you've done the training and you've done this stuff. And that gets back to what's the IBI, which is the instance by instance ruling that just came out. That's where they can now, because they're tired of hearing that, so they're sitting there, they can quadruple those fines, and they're going to go through the roof. So I would suggest contractors out there, seriously, if you don't do it through the SMA, do it through somebody.
Do it through somebody.
Protected.
Well, Mark, that's amazing, and you know what? Thank you for all you're doing for all the contractors out there. That's the best I've heard. So, again, if anybody has any questions, give me the website again.
It's actually Stucco, MFGASSOC.com.
Okay, that sounds great. And if anybody has any questions for us, and we're going to be following up on this some more, because that's the new IBI rule is something that needs to be talked about a lot more to consistently make sure contractors know exactly what that is all about. But if anybody has any questions for us, it is wconline.com. And while you're there, make sure you sign up for all our free content, whether it's our e-magazine, our e-news, our podcasts, our videos, so you can stay up to date on all the great content we're putting together like we are with Mark today. Nothing more important than joining the SMA. But most importantly, everybody, please stay safe and healthy, especially with the help of SMA. And we cannot wait to talk to you guys soon. Mark, thank you so much.
Thank you, and thank you for allowing me to be your editorial director for Walls and Ceilings Magazine.
Absolutely.
I guess it's 15 years now.
It's been a while.
I love Walls and Ceilings Magazine.
Thank you.
And I will tell you, I get nothing but compliments about what a great magazine it is.
Oh, thank you so
much.
Job. Well, thank you for supporting us too, because it helps us do what we love to do.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mark.
Bye.